Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chishu Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Stop encouraging women to have less sexual partners. Let's get it.
To me, it saddens me that we've put so much pressure on girls to be chaste, you know, and to not have a bunch of partners, and then they're saving themselves for a man who's had every partner he ever wanted.
Yeah.
And so it's
And
like,
now he's
where's
looking at
the
you.
equity? And right.
And he looking at you like, why won't your leg bend back? Excuse me? But I'm sorry.
What is wrong with you?
No, but that's gonna
No.
end up being the
No.
reality of it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
because I have some of my very close sisters, some of my best friends, when they came out of purity culture and they were waiting, and it's like your husband has had all these sexual partners, and it almost makes you feel a certain way because
Yeah.
these expectations, sir, I don't know how to do all of this yet. I'm willing to learn, but what am I supposed to do if I don't know how to swing from a chandelier on the first night? I'm sorry.
All right, guys, so you heard it for yourself. These women are saying, hey, why do we discourage women to have fewer sexual partners when they're eventually going to marry men who have had all the women they could possibly want? Well, for this video, I'm going to spare the whole topic about how multiple sexual partners affect women terribly, right? They are damaged from being in the streets and taking a bunch of D. What we're going to do is talk about what they said. They are assuming that the man who they decide to eventually settle down with will be a man who's had incredible sexual access. As in this guy who've had more bodies than they have, when that's not the case. Most women today are racking up way more bodies than the average man. This idea that you're going to get married and your husband is going to have a bunch of bodies, it's like, that's not necessarily true. At this rate, women are going to outnumber men when it comes to sexual partners, right? Which of course these women won't realize until it's time for them to seriously try to look for a husband. They don't realize that that's going to lessen the chances of a man taking them seriously. What we're seeing here again is women trying to justify being 304s, trying to justify racking up bodies. And it's crazy, right? As always, the internet did respond. I want to check out a few of these comments. First comment here says, real talk. That's why I say their body count counts too. I wouldn't want a man that has been with a lot of women, have a lot of kids, or possibly STDs. Someone else responded back to that and says, right. Another person here added and says, always get tested regardless of his body count. Plenty of women who were virgins before got STDs with their first partner. Final comment here says, right, because many of them are loose, fast, nasty, and don't care who and what they sleep with especially the young ones. They'll F a hole in the wall. And while this may have some truth to it to a certain extent, let's not forget that women today, and the women in the video that we just watched, are fighting to have the same type of sexual freedom that men have. They want to be dogs too. In fact, they don't want to be, they are. They are out here in the streets, even to a greater degree than men are. Next comment here from another woman says, that's exactly why I'm raising my sons to wait for marriage. I hate that double standard. You should be encouraging your daughters mostly to wait for marriage. Your sons as well, but your daughters a lot more, because that's going to weigh a lot more their future than it would a man. This is not me saying that a man's body count doesn't matter. I'll say it right now, life is more than sex. I'm not somebody who encourages men to go out here and rack up as many bodies as possible. That's not what you should do as a man. Next comment here says, because they refuse to believe having multiple partners affects them negatively too. I believe it does. I believe it does. Not to the same degree as women, but it does have a negative effect, right? When you are obsessed with women sexually. Someone else responded to that comment and says, explain how I'll wait. This person goes on to say, lack of sexual discipline is true. No intimacy skills. Men can still, men connect differently from women. The comment goes on to say, no relationship skills, sex friend, poor relationship communication skills. The only thing having multiple sexual partners teaches you is just how to have sex, maybe, and how to get sex. Don't try to experience things because a lot of you are still bad at it. She's throwing shade there. It also increases the chances of you having an STD or a child somewhere. Lack of sexual compatibility with partner No. Men don't get affected in that way, right? Goes on to say it also causes sex to end up becoming a transactional need in your relationship or marriage when it should be a wanted, intimate relationship within it. I'm not somebody who goes around and says like a man can go out and sleep with hundreds of women and it's not going to affect him in any way, shape, or form. No, I believe men get affected with sleeping around as well, right? Now, to what degree, we can debate that, right? I'm not talking about somebody who's out here like dating, having sex. I'm talking about somebody who has no discipline with their sex. The number one focus is to get laid. That type of life to a man is destructive. Next comment here from another woman says, I just told my boyfriend this. Why are we also teaching our girls to wait for marriage, but not our boys? Because women are different from men. You see, guys, don't be this guy. Don't have kids with the woman before having these conversations, because she will raise up 304s and you will watch it happen, right? Which is a father's worst nightmare. Next comment here in response to that chick says, boys don't get pregnant. Also, infections of STDs, parentheses, women are more vulnerable. That's very true. And also women get attached. Very good points right there. Another woman responded back to that guy and says, are men immune to STDs and infections? They also have plenty of kids out there. No, they're not immune. But the response was to the woman saying, well, why do we put more emphasis on women? Because women get affected more. Finally, the last comment here says, read lady, I said women are more vulnerable to STDs. That's a fact whether you like it or not. Next comment from another chick says, and it doesn't go away just because you get married. It takes a long time to feel sexually free, if ever. Another chick says, and then they bring all these soul ties with it. And the last comment here says, that's exactly why I'm waiting. We both jumping into this thing with a fresh perspective. So we have a guy here who's assuming, this is a gentleman, this is a man who's assuming that there are virgins out here waiting for him. He will be sadly very disappointed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
As always, guys, I'm curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you for checking out another episode of The Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.